Good afternoon, lovely tubers. White Mexican back again for another video today. Starting off, we're going to go into the 2010 Collector's Tin Promo Summon Skull. This is the highest rarity currently that we have of Summon Skull in the TCG. And this card has definitely seen a significant increase in value. Starting out with the market price here, it's going to be about $21.20, and then just quickly moves up to about $23, and then bottoms out at 55 bones. Only one page left of this card. This card is extremely ancient. It's 18 years old now. All of the 2002 Collector Tins promos have been going up like crazy. More specifically, the Blue Eyes and the Dark Magician, but it took a long time, and I don't know when exactly that it's reached this price point, but for the longest time, this card was, I think the average price for several years was about $7, and now it's all the way up to 21 plus, so I thought that was pretty incredible. Moving on, so we are in full-on Master Rule 5 is the game state now, and there is a lot of excitement and a lot of hype going into synchros again. Synchros have definitely become a lot more prevalent now that we have the ability to utilize Master Rule of 5. And Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon is an amazing choice amongst any Advent Synchro player. And of course, there is the Win-Witch engine to bust it out relatively quickly and effectively. So I think all these cards might potentially see some growth in value with that. There is the Raging Tempest Ultra Rare of Glaspell. This is the highest rarity of Glaspell. Definitely one of the more key ones in the combo. So let's go ahead and take a look at this with the original print dawning from Raging Tempest. This card is about 5 bones, pretty much all across the board, then slowly starts to trickle up after that. Only 4 pages left for the original print. Now, again, I believe that there was a Megaton Ultra Rare reprint, if I'm not mistaken. Alright, no, so there was just this common. So, this is the only hollow foil print of this card. So, $5 for Glaspell in all its first edition, original print, glorious rarity. Can't really say that. I can't call Ultra Rare glorious, but it's all we have right now. It's the only hollow foil that we have of Glaspell. And then let's go ahead and take a look at Snowbell. So there was a reprint common and then an Ultra Rare from Rate. So this has always been the least popular one out of the 3. But it's still part of the set, so we're going to go ahead and take a look here. These are about $2-ish plus once you factor in shipping for the first edition's original prints, and there's 5+ pages for Snowbell. And finally, Icebell. So the original print, I believe, was also in Ultra Rare, which looks pretty cheap. I am an avid fan of original prints. First edition original prints, but when it comes to things being rarity bumped, for the most part, not always, I really do prefer the rarity bumps, and I am an avid secret rare lover, so I would much rather go for this. Even though it's not the original print, this is still a rarity update, and it's got the nice updated foiling with the attribute and level stars secret rare foiling. So first edition copy of this is even cheaper than the original print Ultra Rares. It's about $1, if that, when you factor in shipping, pretty much all across the board, and there's 5 pages of this. So really quickly, because we're already in this card, I might as well show you guys the Ultra prints, which it's going to be kind of interesting that the Ultra prints are going to probably be a little bit more expensive, but my personal opinion, I would much rather have a secret rare. Even though it is a reprint, it's still a secret rare, and it looks a lot nicer to me. First editions of the originals is going to be actually roughly around the same. It's going to be, yeah, about $1 if you factor in shipping. So, yeah, it's your choice. You can get the original print Ultra Rares if you want to go, original print, but I would personally go for the secret rare reprints, in my opinion, personally. Next is going to be Magical Musketeers. So I've talked about this deck briefly through a plethora of my content videos, and this is such an amazing deck. Like, it's so fun to play. I think it's pretty basic knowledge to pilot. It's not too difficult to play. It also is one of the very few Fiend decks, Fiend-based archetypes that are light attributes. So that's pretty cool. I think the only other Fiend deck that I can think of that is light attribute is Fabled. Those are the only two. The Magical Musketeers and Fables are the only Fiend light archetype decks that I can really think of. Maybe if you guys can think of some other ones, but that I can really think of right now off the top of my head. And this card is extremely, this archetype, this deck is extremely cheap. Now, this is all just the monsters. Caspar and Starfire got Ultra Reprints and Dual Overload, which brought down the price of the secrets quite significantly, but there's still, a couple bones here. I didn't want to go too far into detail with this. I just wanted to showcase this deck a little bit, kind of put it in the spotlight, because I think this deck has fantastic potential. The sheer fact that you can play your magic and trap free in hand is a really unique and a really, really fun mechanic, and this is one of the only decks to allow you to do that, so it's really awesome. Their link card is really good too, and again, these are just the monsters. They have several magic and trap cards that you guys can dig out later if you're interested in looking at this deck that are really awesome. Condemned Witch is going to be the next card. So this has unwavering artwork. This artwork is just fantastic. It is also a secret rare dawning from Soul Fusion, and still, now granted, Soul Fusion is not an old set by any means, but it is still a solo print. It is still not seen any reprints, and it is a full-on secret rare. And this card is increasing in value. And not only is this a solo print, it's a secret rare, and it has amazing artwork, it's got an amazing effect too. The effect right here, the first effect isn't really that big of a deal. It's kind of just a little extra, but the second effect here is really, really great. There is few to none cards that has done this before, and it's just amazing. Like, again, I'm a really avid fan of fairy builds. I really love fairy decks, counter fairies, perfect herald, and to name a few. And this card is increasing in value. It is about 5 bones, and then it quickly jumps up to about 6, and then 7, and then increases off of that. And there's only 4 pages left of this. This card used to be, and I invested very heavily in this card. This card was like a no-brainer because, like, of all the things I said before, it's a secret rare, it's a solo print, it's got amazing artwork, and it's got a killer effect. So, and its stats are great. It's kind of interesting too how it's a dark fairy. There's not really a whole. Most fairies are light. There's quite a few, like Dark Lords, they're dark fairies, but there's definitely a lot more light fairies than there is dark, so I thought it was really cool and unique that this was a dark fairy. So I invested abundantly in this card, and I'm really happy that I did, because when I bought this card several years ago, when Soul Fusion first came out, the card was kind of a little bit more expensive when it first came out, but a few months after the set came out, it started to trickle down pretty heavily. And I want to say I was buying these for like $2 or $3 for the first edition prints. And, so they've increased, not significantly yet, but they're starting to, and I can definitely see them having potential to go a lot higher. Next card is going to be Chaos Hunter. So this is I kind of consider this a hand trap card, kind of, because, it gets special summon from the hand, but it's not really per se that part of category of play, but it's a really cool card. We have a couple prints here which are really not significant. You want to talk about the original print Secret Rares, Dawning from Storm of Ragnarok. This was an amazing set. I really, really like this set. There's a lot of awesome Six Samurai stuff in here, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe this was the set that Max C came out of, which is just the most infamous hand trap of like all time. I don't think there's ever going to be a hand trap that's going to top the amazingness of the legendary Max C, which I'm an avid fan of. That's going to be coming off the ban list sooner than later, and I've been investing heavily in that card as well. So basically, this, you can just pop this off from your hand based on what your opponent plays. Pretty great stats. I'm pretty sure I'm not mistaking. Okay, it's not a level 8. Unfortunately, it looks like it's a level 7, which is unfortunate because it could have been, an advanced draw or trade and target. But it's got other cool stats, like it's a dark, it's a fiend, it's got pretty good stats in form of attack. And its artwork is pretty cool. It kind of reminds me of like a masquerader or something, but going for a pretty nice value point. It's about 9 bones for the unlimited, but no one really cares about that because one thing I wanted to talk about, and that I'm going to get to here in a minute. Let me just finish this little section. So the first editions are coming on the second page, and they're about 11 plus. There's a 5 stack here, so that's pretty nice, and then it just continues to kind of trickle up after that. 5 plus page of this, so definitely plenty on the market to choose from. So Shared Ride is going to be the next card, but before I go into Shared Ride, I wanted to discuss really quickly, what do you guys think about first editions and unlimited? If you guys watched any of my videos before or are familiar with my content, I'm an avid fan of first edition, as many players are, because of the huge variant in price differences between unlimited and first edition cards, regardless of what the rarities are. And my personal opinion on the matter is, as time really goes on, like, I really feel that first edition prints are rendering unlimited prints really useless. Now, this may just be me being biased because I personally don't hardly ever invest in anything that is not first edition, unless it's like a promo or something that comes as like limited edition or something that you can't get first edition, because it's just the price differences for the most part is just so different. It's like, why would you have it any other way? Why would you not get first editions? Of course, if you have the resources and the ability to get first edition prints. It's just, I really kind of struggle with that concept. Like, I'm starting to believe that unlimited cards is just, it's like they're garbage. Like, no one wants them. Everyone's gonna want to get the first edition first. The only thing I can see is, yeah, unlimited, when we get the unlimiteds with the special edition sets that come out, and it kind of just refluctuates the market and allows players to get the same cards at a lower value. But after that, after the hype of the new core booster set, after it's out for a couple months or whatever, it just the unlimiteds, they just really fall to the wayside, and no one really cares about them anymore. And that's just my personal opinion. So if you guys, what do you guys think about that? I just thought that was kind of interesting. That's my personal belief on that. I really think that just unlimited cards are always going to be inferior to first edition, and they're kind of just going to like fall away. And I don't really think there's any like large populous players that are investing very heavily or that really even enjoy unlimited cards. And it's kind of funny because like it's just a little stamp here in the corner. Back in the day it used to be over here, but that's all I wanted to say about that. I'm just kind of curious what your guys' opinions are on that, the whole conspiracy of like first edition versus unlimited. Anyway, okay, so 4 different prints of this. We got a rare, a common, a crap gold, the 2014 Megatons, and the original Legacy of the Valiant first edition secrets. This card has fantastic artwork. I love it. I love how it has like the Delinquent Duo Demon. It has Sangan. It has the I want to say, is this Graceful Charity Angel, I think, and a couple of Goblins over there. It kind of looks like, I'm not really sure, but anyway, fantastic artwork. Again, Legacy of Valiant, it's not too old, but it's not really that young of a set either. And again, it's a secret rare, and this is the original prints. And this card is amazing draw power. Also, it's really diverse because it's a quick play, so you can play it on your opponent's turn if you set it. So it's got a lot going for it. And this was a really great side card, and it saw a lot of hype over time, but I feel like people kind of forgot about it. People have just thrown it to the side, and no one really talks about this card that I'm aware of, and no one's really using this card anymore. And searches are never going away. Searching cards, getting to your resources from the deck, or even from the graveyard, because it's a dual prong. You can get draw power from if they search from the deck or the graveyard, which was very prevalent in Sky Striker era. When Sky Striker era was roaming around just destroying everything, this was a very prevalent card because it could do both. And this is just a fantastic card all around. The first edition print is going to be a little bit over roughly around 3 bones. And not really a lot of stacks here. Most of these are 2 ofs and 1 ofs. And it slowly starts to increase after that, about $3-4. Only 4 pages left of this, but this is just an all-around fantastic card. And I'm really surprised that more people don't talk about this card. So we said it's about 3-4 for the original first edition prints. Now I always like to check the Megaton reprints because it's the same rarity, and if it's a significant enough price difference, and it's all up to the player perspective. It's all up to you guys. For me, it's worth it. I have no shame playing a Megaton reprint as long as it's the same rarity or a higher rarity. I really do not have any issues. But when it comes to collectability and kind of like sell value, that's when you want to go for the more original prints. But if the prices vary so much, then it's really not worth it. You might as well just get the Megatons. Like, the Megatons is pretty much the same thing in my opinion, and they're about the same. They're about 2-ish, 3, and again, unfortunately, there's not a lot of stock. These are all 1 ofs, but it's the same price. So at this point, here's actually a 3 of right here. At this point, you might as well, because the price variant is pretty much the same. It's like $1, maybe $1.50 off between the Megaton reprint and the original prints. You might as well just go for the original prints in this case. Magical Spring is going to be next. So if you guys probably notice a trend, when I do feature Shared Ride, I always have to feature Magical Spring because they kind of go not hand in hand, but it's just I guess because they're kind of somewhat from the same time period in Yu-Gi-Oh! And they're both quick play Magic cards, and they both revolve around, giving you some draw power advantage. So let's go ahead and look at the original print Secret Rares dawning from Duelist Alliance. This was an amazing set. This was kind of like the core era of the Burning Abyss, Satellar Knight, and Shaddoll battles, which was just a very, very great time in the game. The first editions here are just ridiculously cheap. They're not even $1 here. And there's not too many stacks, 1s, 2s ofs here, and there's 5 pages of this. Would definitely recommend you buying this card in stacks because it is, very cheap if you can, so you can, get the free shipping and all that. But this is just another alternative card for draw power, and depending on what your build is and how you're playing, I think this card has still a lot of potential, and its artwork is pretty cool too. So I'm not really going to review the Megaton reprints just because the original prints are so ridiculously cheap right now. Those are really going to be the only things that you're going to be interested. The 2015, maybe because. So I take that back. If the 2015 ones, I'm actually going to check it out really quick because you saw on the first page there wasn't a lot of stacks for the original print. If there's a lot of stacks for the the Megaton reprint, then maybe it'd be a little bit more worth it because you can get stacks of them. Like here's a 3 of, here's a 3 of, and again, you're only investing in first edition prints. As I always say, it's always going to hold the most value, as everyone knows. If it's available, you always go first edition. So it's kind of up to you what you want to do with Magical Spring. Next is going to be Mistake. And you can kind of see like the trends. Like these are all kind of like associated. Like you see Shared Ride, you see Mistake, you see Mistaken Arrest, and there's also Mistaken Accusation, which is not a very good card at all. There's one part of the text, if they wasn't part of the card, it would be a really good card, but they completely like render this card useless when they add that little text at the bottom of it. But these all have like the similar kind of characters and kind of artwork style, and I think it's really great. And I think like they came roughly around the same time frame of the sets that were released, so it's like they're all kind of like intertwined. But the next card I wanted to review is going to be Mistake. They're both Secret Rares, 2014 Megatons. Let's go ahead and look at the original prints dawning from Shadow Specters. This is just an amazing floodgate again. I am an avid anti-meta player, and I'm really, really interested in continuous trap card floodgates. And there's so many just amazing floodgates out there, and this is one of the best. I really do. I kind of say that about a lot of different floodgates, but this is a very, very powerful card. Searching through your deck and getting to your resources is so vital for so many decks, and it has been for so long. And it's pretty great that this card has not even been touched on the ban list or anything. It's actually pretty unbelievable that this card is just fully unlocked. Really amazing artwork here. You got like Giant Orc, I think it's a Sangan. You got like the tour bus looking thing. Just a fantastic artwork. Again, it's a secret rare. Only 2 prints available of this. And this being the original print, it's about $3-ish if you factor in shipping. There's not really a lot of stacks for the first page here, but this is yeah, so it's about 3 with factoring. It's about 2, but if you factor in shipping, it's about 3 for the original print. So it makes me really curious. Let's go ahead really quick and take a look at the Megaton reprints. If the original prints are about 3 roughly with shipping, let's go ahead and see what the alternate is. It's 2014 Mega Pack Secrets. These are, oh, this is cool. There's a German one. That's pretty nice. I've never had a German one of these. But moving on here. So yeah, they're about $2. So about $1 difference. And here's a fat stack right here. These are 140 and there's a 17 of, so that's pretty interesting. Again, now these are really gonna, everyone's gonna go for the original print first editions first, and then once those kind of go bye-bye, then it definitely switches over to this. But remember, these are both the same rarity, and they both came out in the same year. So it's all just up to you guys what you guys want to do. But definitely buy out the original prints first if you can find some good stacks, because in general, it's just a relatively not that expensive card. So it's kind of like Costco. Like, you want to go and you want to buy in bulk, and it's just kind of like the way life is. When you buy in bulk, you always seem to end up on the top when it comes to value and saving resources. So the next card I want to review here is going to be Mistaken Arrests. So there's the original prints from Clash Rebellions, and then there's this crap gold here that no one cares about, so I'm not even going to go look at it. Really quick, let me just verify to make sure that these are the only 2 prints, because I'm surprised it didn't have a Megaton reprint either. Okay, so obviously Clash Rebellions as a secret rare, the original print is going to be the ideal choice. Again, amazing artwork. Again, it's kind of the same character as Sangan. The I think, again, Graceful Charity Angel, I believe, and one of the Delinquent Duo Demons here. Really great artwork. It's a secret rare, and it's just Mistake. It's Mistake for 2 turns, and or kind of technically, yeah, depending on when you want to play it, 2 to 3 turns. And again, it's a quick play, so it's got some great diversibility. And first editions are about $1. Without factoring and shipping, they're about $1. Doesn't look like there's a lot of stacks of these either, at least on the first page, but this is insanely cheap for this card. And I think this has great potential. There's 5+ pages of this. Again, so it's kind of whatever you guys want to play. If you guys want something a little bit more long-term, like if you don't personally need to search from your deck, you can use Mistake and just have it be a floodgate. Or if you search yourself and you just want to lock out your opponent and deny them for the turns that you need to kind of go off, so you can set yourself up and then take them out. So it's completely up to you guys. But again, great rarity and great artwork, and I definitely think it has potential for future play. And it's extremely cheap right now. That's the biggest thing, is it's very affordable right now. Next card is going to be Secret Village of the Spellcasters. So there's a lot of prints of this. Really quick, I'm just going to try to show you guys here, because there's tons of prints of this, even other super rare versions. But my personal opinion, like many players, is original print first editions is always going to hold the most value, as you can see here. The OTS packs 8 saw a super rare, which is pretty nice. Infinity Tracers saw a super rare. And, of course, there's 2 other commons here. But the CSOC first edition super rares were the first prints. This has pretty cool artwork. This is such an amazing card. This is one of my favorite old school, or just one of my favorite field Magic cards, like, in general. It's really cool. And I remember when I came back into the game for the second time, one of my really good friends was playing a Dark Magician deck with this and Royal Decree, and it basically just like locked your opponent out. And it was slower because it's really a really old deck, but it was back then it was very powerful. And let's go ahead and see if we can find some first editions. As you can see, the Unlimiteds here, Again, kind of just reinforcing that fact that unlimiteds are very undesirable and no one really cares about them for the most part. Now, for playability purposes, I mean, it doesn't matter. If you're playing with a first edition or an unlimited, it's going to do the same thing in a duel. Which is another topic that I actually kind of wanted to go over. I don't know if I'm going to get to it in this video because I've kind of been chatterboxing on the sidelines here for a bit with that whole unlimited first edition spiel. But moving on here, no first editions on the first 3 pages. Only 5 pages of this card. It looks like we're only going to get first editions on the last page. And they're about 11. Here's a 1 of for 11. Here's a 2 of for about 13. And there's really just not that many left of this card in general for first edition. It bottoms all the way out to 25 for the original super rare first editions. But this is just a really cool card. It's too expensive to buy. Honestly, I wouldn't even spend the 11. Like, this card, it's to a point where I'm uncomfortable investing in it, but it's just a really nice card, so I wanted to spotlight it really quick. Next card is going to be Reasoning. So I'm really frustrated with this card. Well, not with the card. The card's amazing. It's hit to 1 on the ban list because it's so amazing. What I'm frustrated about is this card is such an amazing card. It's such a powerful card. It's got really cool artwork, and it's very diverse. You can put it on so many decks, and Konami has yet to give us well, they gave us this platinum gold, but no one cares about this. This is trash. Like, no one likes premium gold. Gold Series 2008, 2009, and the Haunted Mine with the Ghost Golds, like, those are nice. But other than that, like, nothing really looks good. Very, very rarely, some gold secrets look kind of nice to me. It depends on what the card is, the artwork, and all that. But this is just utter trash. I don't even consider this a hollow foil. Like, this is, like, below common, in my opinion, for the most part. And then, of course, you have the battle packs and star packs and star foils and all that, but not even like a super rare. I think it'd be really cool if we got this at least as a super rare in one of the OTS packs. I think this would be a phenomenal choice, or even an ultimate rare. I'm so bold to say that this card is so good. It has such great playability, and it's been hit on the list to 1 for so long. Like, this card deserves an ultimate rare print. Like, would you guys agree with that? I think it deserves an ultimate reprint just because of how old it is, dating all the way back to Generation 1 Duel Monsters era, Pharaonic Guardian as a common, and then there's all these other commons. And I'm not a fan of the Battle Pack stuff. Battle Pack really just comes off to me as like a knockoff to Duel Terminal, like a failed attempt to like rebirth Duel Terminal cards, but like in a crappier way. Star Pack is pretty cool. The original Star Packs, I used to like Star Pack Tour Guide and all that. Like, that was pretty cool. I'm not really a big fan of it anymore, but when it was like brand new and there was just like the original Star Pack, which I believe this is the Star Pack 2014. I think this was I don't think it was, because I think it was older. I think Star Pack came out, the original one. The original one had to been more like 2012 era, I think. I don't know. I don't recall the first one being this late in 2014, but this is the highest rarity as a star foil rare, and it's relatively good value. For lightly played near mint, there's only 1 page, and you can see here it starts off at about 9-ish, 10, and then quickly goes to almost about 20, and then trickles up after there. So there's really none on the market, which is not very surprising because, in my personal opinion, this is the nicest rarity. I mean, of course, you're going to have the Pharaonic Guardians original prints, but those are just commons. But personally speaking, I would much rather have, out of all the choices that we have for rarities in this card, I would much rather have the Pharaonic Guardian first edition print. So really quick, because it is my preferred choice print as of right now, until we hopefully get a super rare or an ultimate rare and an OTS pack. I think that would just be phenomenal. Let's see if we can dig out some first editions here for the original print. First edition is going to be about a half a bone here, and there's about 5 pages left. So again, this is not by any means a stack, so you guys would have to find a stack to get this card if you want to get free shipping, unless you guys just toggle it in to your cart. Next is going to be Shadow Imprisoning Mir. This and its twin sister Light Imprisoning Mir are just, again, fantastic floodgates, and they're just infamous, and pretty much everyone knows about these. These are just like classic, the perfect side deck cards for light and dark decks, which are just so predominant in a game. Like there's so many big decks that are deck heavy, dark heavy, and light heavy, and a lot of famous titles that go with those attributes. There's 2 commons and a rare, which are nothing in my opinion. Even though this is rare and this is common, this is still dual terminal common, which is not really common. It has its own foiling and its own merit. Huge fan of dual terminal cards. As you guys know, Konami stopped manufacturing the dual terminal machines, and these have gone bye-bye. So what we have is all we have left. So these are kind of slowly disappearing if you getting lost or destroyed or just not put on the market or whatever it may be. But Shadow Imprisoning Mir Dual Terminal 7. This is about $3 before factoring in shipping. There's not really a whole bunch of stacks. Here's a stack for 4, but it goes all the way up to almost 4. And then there's 3 pages of this. So this is really great. My price point for this is about 2. Every time this card hits around 2, I always pick this card up in abundance. I've invested very, very heavily in this card because this is just like the ultimate side card. And again, there's so many dark predominant decks. Light Imprisoning Mir, it's pretty much the same thing. You got the same treatment, and the dual terminal version is going to be the best in my personal opinion. This is significantly cheaper than Shadow Imprisoning Mir, and I think that's very strange because I believe that there is just as many good light decks and popular and rampant light decks out there that there are dark decks. Konami has always been very good about balancing light and dark, and I mean it's safe to assume that light and dark attributes have, again, they've just dominated the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Since the beginning of time. But this is significantly cheaper. It's about not even $1, about $1 if you factor in shipping. And the first stack here is about 3 of right here. And then it's about the same, about four pages left of this. So this is just a fantastic card. And again, I'm just a huge fan of dual terminal rarity. Moving on, so Starter Deck Pegasus, first edition, of course. A gigantic collector's item. Any of these Generation 1 starter decks. Joey, Pegasus, Kaiba, Yugi, all really, really great. But what I want to talk about is Graceful Charity. So Graceful Charity is probably right up there with Pot of Greed when it comes to the realms of banned draw power cards. This card is just so amazing. Now, when it comes to Pot of Greed and Graceful Charity, there's no way in hell that those are going to come off the ban list unerrated. If they got errated, yes, they would definitely have the potential to come off the ban list. I say it all the time. I really believe that every card has the potential and gets its moment to shine and come off the list. But these cards are literally just the most infamous draw cards of probably ever, and there's little to no chance that if they ever do come off, which I believe that they definitely could, but they would definitely be heavily errated. Amazing artwork, and this is actually the original print dawning from this starter deck. And let's go ahead and see if we can find some first editions. No one really talks about this card. People talk about Pot of Greed because it's the most infamous draw card ever, but personally I like this card better. Yeah, back in the day, discarding, there wasn't a lot of effects to plus from discarding, but nowadays, discarding 2 cards from your hand can do wonders for you. And this card allows you to draw 3, as opposed to Pot of Greed only allows you to draw 2. So, and the artwork, I like the artwork a lot better on this one. The Japanese one has the halo, which looks really nice too for the OCG artwork. And the first edition here is going to be about $4.10, and you can factor in shipping. And there's another one here for about $4 plus $1 shipping. And there's really not a lot of stacks here for the first edition. Here's one, and then there's another one here for all the way up to 7. So this card is starting to go away. Only 5 pages left. As you can see, there's not many stacks at all for this card. And again, you're only going to want to invest in first edition of this, and this is just ancient as hell, but the first editions are always going to reign supreme when it comes to old school collector stuff. And let's go ahead really quick and review some of the versions. My personal favorite is the original print super rares from what I just showed you, starter deck Pegasus, but there's also some really cool rarities too that are holding some pretty great value, like the the Parallel Ultra, I believe it's called. It's an Ultra, and then it has like the parallel foiling. It's the Hobby League foiling from Hobby League 4. This is a really great rarity. This is probably my second favorite to the original print super rare. There's also the Legendary Collection 3 Yugi's World Secret Rare. This is an amazing set. I talk about the set all the time. I would really recommend you guys check out this set. There's a lot of great value in that, as well as Legendary Collection 4. And then, of course, you know, there is the starter deck Pegasus, which I just showed you guys. So between the original print supers, the ultra rare, the parallel ultras, and the secret rares, again, first edition always on the secret rare, I think they're just fantastic choices. And the last card that I wanted to review with you guys is going to be the starter deck Pegasus Relinquish Supers. So Relinquish, I think Magic Ruler was already out by the time, because the first starter decks was Yugi and then Kaiba, and then the second wave was Pegasus and Joey, if I'm not mistaken, for like the Gen 1 starter decks. And I think Magic Ruler, I'm pretty sure, had already been released. And, of course, Relinquish is originally, the Genesis Relinquish was printed in Magic Ruler as the same rarity as an Ultra Rare. And then this reprint came along. And, again, like, everyone knows that, you know, starter deck Kaiba's Blue Eyes and starter deck Yugi's Dark Magician, they're money for the first editions only, of course. Again, just putting more emphasis on, you know, the superiority of the first edition prints are just like ungodly expensive. There's so much value. And let's go ahead and see if we can find a first edition print of this. And I really do. I think, and you can even see starter deck Joey with the red eyes. Those first editions, those are going for a pretty penny too. Blue Eyes and Dark Magician have always been, you know, very like a high value, but Red Eyes is starting to go up now for the starter deck print, and I would not be surprised if the ultra rare from starter deck Pegasus, the Relinquish, you know, his big card, would not follow suit. Like, why wouldn't it? It's all part of the trending, and as you can see here, there's really not a whole lot of first editions here yet. At least we're already on page 4, and we see the first edition here for about $1, which is fantastic. That's very, very cheap. You know, it's a one-of, but it's, you know, it's still only $1. And then on the 5th page, we see no first editions, and then on the 6th page, there is one for about 2 bones without factoring in shipping. And then we go on to the 7th page, and I know I'm kind of dragging this on. No first editions on the 7th page. I just kind of want to show you guys, put it in perspective, that for the longest time, there was an abundance of this card on the market. And I'm not going to lie, I invested very heavily in this version of Relinquished, because I really believe that following trending and following history with Red Eyes, with Blue Eyes, with Dark Magician, that this is going to follow suit. And this is not, it's nowhere, I don't think it's ever going to get to the point of Blue Eyes or Dark Magician or even Red Eyes, but it's definitely going to increase in value and become a collector's card if it hasn't already. And you can see here, it bottoms out at about $7, which really is not a big deal at all. It's like $7. It's not really a big deal at all. But there's not that many first editions left, as I could see. I went through 8 pages, and there was just kind of like a very small pocket of first editions, and most of them were not big stacks at all. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Thank you so much for watching these videos. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Please stay safe out there. This has been a showcasing by the White Mexican, and I will